I'm PC Tim Beaumont. I'm the ward officer for Queensbridge Ward, which is in Hackney. There are a number of incidents recently, especially in this area, where cyclists have been killed. We're doing something about it, and what we're doing, we're taking part in what's called an Exchanging Places programme. What we're doing, we're getting a tipper and a bus, this time supplied by yourselves. And what we're doing, we're getting the cyclists to get inboard and sit where the cab, in the cab where the drivers are, or in your cab, so that they can see exactly what the drivers can see in terms of, can they see the cyclist? And invariably they find they can't actually see the cyclist. Hopefully that will result in the cyclist being a bit more careful, not going down the insides and that sort of thing. And that's the point of what we're doing today. We've had a good response. Number of people, especially coming up towards going through Broadway Market, but although we are on the canal and we're stopping a load of people from the canal as well, and both of which are good commuter routes. We're not only doing this, we're also doing bike safety checks, and we're also doing bike marking. On my ward, which is Queensbridge Ward, is Arriva Buses, and I went and spoke to Mark Gardner and asked if we could borrow one of the buses, and he was more than happy to help us out. So thank you very much for that.
I was in the bus lane cycling, and a bus had seen me, took over me, and just didn't go quite wide enough, so hit me with the mirror on the side of my shoulder. And understandably, we were both kind of shocked, and I was upset, and the bus driver was immediately defensive. And it's nicer to be sat here and have a normal conversation without it feeling like an argument about who's in the wrong and who's in the right. And it helps kind of, a better communication tool rather than dealing with it when you've just been hit by a bus. So the gentleman asked me to signal when I could see him in the bus mirrors, walking backwards from the front to the bus, and it took a lot longer for me to see him in the mirror than I would have thought. And by sitting in the cab, you can see the difficulty of seeing through the doors, where maybe cyclists would assume that because it's glass, a bus driver can see straight through the doors, when in actual fact it's more difficult than that. And probably it also showed me the importance of wearing a high-vis jacket, because that's much more visible than just a colour jacket or anything else. So it stands out much more in the mirrors. I thought it was a really good exercise to help cyclists understand the view of large vehicles on the road. The cyclists can only really assume what they can see from a cyclist's point of view, and I've just seen that that's often not the case. Where you think you're positioned and you're visible, you end up not being. I've been hit by a bus before, and actually to get that point of view has made me kind of understand that it's much more difficult to see cyclists than you think as a cyclist.